Hi, my name is Mackenzie with Wingman Realty, and I'm really looking forward to working with you. Before we get too far, I want to make sure I take the time to explain the buyer agreement to you. Check your email for a message from me via dotloop for the buyer paperwork to sign electronically. I'm going to explain all the papers in this video so you can sign the document when you get it. The first page is a real estate broker relationship form that is required by the state. It explains all the types of brokerage relationships that are available or allowed by the state. First, there are seller agents. Seller agents have the fiduciary responsibility to the seller in their job to protect the seller and get the seller the best price and terms they can for the seller. A buyer's agent is what I am for you. A buyer's agent role is to protect and get the best terms possible for the buyer. A transaction broker is a neutral agent. This only happens if we are already representing a seller and we already represent a buyer, and then our buyer client wants to purchase the home from our seller client. We cannot help competing clients negotiate against each other. We have to take a vow of neutrality. In other words, we cannot play chess with ourselves. Next is the buyer agency agreement. It says you are the buyer and Wingman Realty is the broker. The general description of the property you are buying and how long we are agreed to work with each other before an extension might be needed. Typically, this is 1 year depending on if you're a lease or etc. You as the buyer warrant that you are not working with any other buyer agent and you are not obligated to any other brokerage. You also are not aware of any facts that would prevent you from closing. Believe it or not, we once had a client who was married to 2 wives, and at closing he wanted to use the joint account of wife number 1 to buy the house with wife number 2. As you can imagine, that didn't work too well. You agree to comply with federal and state local laws. That's fair housing. You can say you want to live north of this street and south of this street or 2 miles from this church, but you can't describe the type of people you want to live around. You agree to get your pre-approval letter if you haven't already and send that to me as soon as you can. You will let other agents know you are working with me. You are welcome to attend open houses. Just make sure you let them know that you already have an agent. And also, if you want to see any houses or get information about a particular house, just send it to me and I'll research it for you. Don't inquire to the listing agent on Zillow or other websites. My responsibilities to you are perform this contract with reasonable skill and care to protect and promote your best interest. Seek a price and terms acceptable to you. Even if I share that I do not believe your offer is a strong one or I'm not going to share that opinion with the seller or listing agent. This is just my professional advice to you or my opinion of what the seller might be willing to accept or just my opinion of the value of the home. I will accept and deliver all offers and counteroffers, assist you in developing offers and counteroffers, and answer questions you have about offers and counteroffers. In Missouri, I'm not obligated to look at other homes with you once we go under contract. I am required to share any adverse material facts that I know, or in Missouri should have known, about a property. For example, if I learn there is going to be a water waste treatment plant installed nearby, I cannot keep that information to myself and hope you don't learn of it. My job is to share with you the things that I know about the property that might impact your desire to buy the property or impact the value. I agree to account in a timely manner for any money or property received. This is generally referring to the earnest money, although sometimes I do get copies of keys to or the garage door openers, and I promise not to lose them. Of course, I also have to comply with federal, state, and local laws, which is fair housing. I promise not to disclose any confidential information about you unless you authorize me to. I also agree to share any adverse material facts about your ability to perform. So if you quit your job and I am aware that this may affect your ability to close on time, then I'm obligated to share with the seller's agent. What I'm not required to tell you if there has been a homicide, suicide, violent crime, offenders who live in the area, or if the house is haunted. However, if I hear about it, I will share it to you. If you want to research offenders who live in the area, these are the websites for each offender list, and there's a website called diedinhouse.com that does research if any previous owners died in the house if you're interested in that kind of information. I will assist you with the closing of the property and will attend your closing with you as long as the title companies are allowing it. I earn 3.5% commission. If there is a difference in the commission that I charge and the commission offered by the seller, it becomes a buyer's closing cost. Then we will ask the seller to cover your closing costs at least enough to cover the agent commission, including the broker admin fee of $650. If you want to buy a for sale by owner home, just let me contact the seller and arrange a commission agreement with you. You can send me the address and picture of the sign or screenshot of the website, and I'll negotiate it before we go see the house. The commission is considered earned even if you buy the property after the agreement expires within 180 days, and even if you saw the property with another agent. Make sure you don't make offers on any houses with another agent, because then both agents will have to earn the commission, and that puts you at risk of being charged. From here through, the check mark goes over the different types of agents that are allowed, which is a longer version of the first page I shared with you. It goes over buyer agency, transaction broker, sub-agency, disclosed dual agent, and designated agency. What we do in our office is buyer agency. The broker is an agent, so all agents in this office also represent the broker's clients. Designated agents for the buyer, designated agents for the seller, and transaction brokers. Next page, cost of services obtained from outside sources that says that you agreed to pay for any services such as inspections at the time of service. Disclosure of broker's role. Did I explain to you what type of broker I am? Yes, I did. Buyer's identity says that I'm allowed to speak freely with people that are dealing with this transaction. For example, I can speak to your lender about your file, or I can share your contact information with insurance or warranty company. Other potential buyers says that I rarely, but sometimes might write offers on the same house with multiple buyers. If this happens, there is no breach of duty as long as I shared that there were multiple offers and I didn't tell either one of you what the terms of the other person's offer was. This usually would only happen with like a foreclosure auction home. Non-assignment of contract says that if you decided to buy in another area in Kansas or Missouri, we can either choose to keep working with you since we are licensed in both states, or we can release you from the agreement and you can choose another agent, but we cannot just assign you off to another agent that we picked. Franchise disclosure is where we would have to tell you if we were a franchise and we're not. Legal and professional advice says that we are real estate agents and provide real estate related advice, but that we are not licensed to practice law. We are trained on these contracts and explain what they mean, but if you have any questions about legal or financial ramifications, we are advised to have you speak to an attorney to review the documents with you. We would also recommend that if you have legal questions about any documents in the real estate transaction, that you contact an attorney. We have some lists of attorneys we can share with you if you need. Entire agreement says that we all agree that we are not using software to modify the documents, and they say the same thing as they did last time. There won't be anyone tricking someone to sign something. We all agree that if we want to make changes to the documents, we either strike through them and everyone initials the documents, or we prepare an amendment or addendum that changes the part we want changed, and the rest of the document would stand as written. Cyber protection says that when you are in a real estate transaction, you should take extreme caution in opening links and attachments unless you know for certain it's a trusted source. We once had a buyer who was told by us in the title company to bring a paper certified check to closing, and someone had hacked the buyer's email and knew enough to know the address and names of the property and sent her a fraudulent email telling her to wire the money with instructions to send it to an incorrect bank account. She was out almost $36,000, and we had to get the FBI and the police department involved to track it. Luckily, she was able to get the money back in 6 months, but it was very stressful for everyone. So be very cautious and know that the title company will not send you an email with wiring instructions. You are not obligated to buy a house, but we all ask that once you start working with us, that you continue to work with us until one day you decide to buy a house, even if that's years later. We will continue to help you. If some reason you want to terminate, there will be a $6.50 fee, and only the broker of our office can authorize any terminations. For example, writing an offer on a home and having it fall through doesn't cancel this agreement. And here is where you sign, and I'm very looking forward to working with you.